Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jen Mertland and Monica Weekly.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. What's up, Jen Mertland?
Hey, Monica. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, just talking to you a little bit before we came on to the podcast, I'm sensing that, I don't know, you're hangry or...
I'm not angry.
You're just game on today.
I'm just on a rager.
Yeah, you are. This ought to be interesting. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. We're so happy you're here. So happy you're listening. We just love you guys and appreciate you being here. Today, Jen and I are going to duke it out over this. What makes a realtor great in the eyes of a homeowner? So from the seller's standpoint, what makes for a great real estate agent? I think this is an interesting question, Jen, because we talk a lot about what we think is a good business owner and how to conduct your business and how to be a great agent from that standpoint. But I think that the sellers see things very differently than we do, right?
Yeah, I think so. I do. I agree with you. I think it's an interesting question. And a follow-up question would be, okay, does that align with what you think makes you a great agent?
Right.
And does your processes align with that as well?
Yeah. It'll be interesting. We'll circle back on that at the end.
Do you want to go first?
Let's see. Okay, sure. I'll go first, and we can kind of go back and forth because there are several things I think that obviously need to be in play from the eyes of the seller. The first and foremost in my mind is the knowledge that a seller expects you to have about how to strategically position their house in the market, price, marketing, like how to find the right buyer, like that knowledge that you gain after selling a certain number of houses. I think is something that a seller expects.
I agree with you. I think market knowledge and demonstrating the market knowledge, and that's not, is that something that they teach? They don't teach it in real estate school.
No, and that's the frustrating thing is that comes from experience. You can't gain that by being in the business.
But you can look at data, and there's ways to pull data to get the answers, and you can understand what the questions are, right? So it's like this macro market analysis and then telling the story about it. And your listing presentation does a good job of this because I've seen yours before.
Thank you. Yeah. And as you just said that, it popped into my brain. You're right. The right answers and the right data are out there. So when you're a new agent, in order to be seen, I think positively from a seller's standpoint, you just have to do that extra homework. And maybe that's interviewing other agents. Maybe that's letting your manager or your broker help you. Maybe that's, doing a little extra time of that research work or whatever. It's all there. It's just when you've been in the business as long as you and I have, we just have a little bit more of that automatically in our head from experience.
But I also think like a pro tip for anybody, no matter what level you're at, is previewing the active
100%.
and or pending things on the market that are in competition, because that will tell you. And for most of us, if we've been in the business, we kind of know these houses, right? Or maybe we've been in them, showed a buyer them or something like that. But like, if you haven't, or it's a new area for you, previewing those houses, because when you're going through the relevant properties and being like, have you been in this one? They're going to be like, no. And you're gonna be like, well, I have.
Yeah, right. I've been in every single one of these. And this one that's sold for less than, well, it's because it had a cat odor in it, or this one had smoke odor, or it had a really chopped up, funky this that you're not seeing in these pictures. You're right. That knowledge. And I think we've gotten out of that practice of seeing houses. Do you feel like that's true?
Yeah, I do. I think it's true. I think previewing houses is critical for, at any stage, because things change, right? So like there's been parts of town that 5 years ago, you couldn't have sold a house there for $1. And now you're like, dang,
Yeah.
Sure, a lot more than $1.
Right. So true.
I
so
equated
true.
like market knowledge is a better way to put it. I put
Yeah.
confidence as something, and it was
Mhm.
confidence, not in like, hey, I'm the best realtor in town. Look at me. Yeah, man. More like confidence, like, I can get your house sold, and here's the plan that works, that we're
Yes.
going to do it. Because there has been times when people are like, and this was before, right? Like, are you going to put in the paper or like whatever? And you're like,
Yeah.
look, this is the plan that works.
Yes, I call that leadership. And I think confidence is also, but people want to be led.
Yes.
And if you show up like looking like you're looking for them to kind of help you decide on this and that and the plan and the price and all that, you've lost them. If you come in like, I know exactly how to get your house sold. Here's the best part of your house. We're going to feature that. Here's what we need to kind of hide, whatever. That's leadership, and people want to be led. And in the absence of leadership, they will lead. And then we have the disaster on our hands.
Yes.
Your clients are leading you. It's a problem.
Well, and the problem is like, I think that the internet is great, and it has also created a problem, right?
Yeah.
So like people, sellers and buyers have so much knowledge about the house, the people, the transaction, like everything, that sometimes they get themselves wound up,
Yeah. I'd like to say sometime, I love that you have your real estate license from HGTV University. I actually have mine from an accredited, I'm waiting to
you
say
don't
that
say
someday.
that to them.
I want to.
Yeah, but you don't. I can't even picture my little concierge realtor saying that. I might say it. When people call about like, and they're being douches or whatever, I'll be like, oh man, how long have you had your real estate license?
I love it. All right. So we have market knowledge. Whether that's something you have because you've been in the business 18 years or because you just do a lot of studying and gathering data. Then we have confidence or leadership, right?
But I also think part of confidence, and what I was thinking too, was just like the ability to complete the job in a way that reaches their goals, right? And that makes sense. And you're answering questions before they're asked because you know the process, and they don't know the process, or maybe they've done the process. Listen, there's so many, there's agents that I've sold their houses for them. Okay. And they have the same questions that everybody else has. And you're like, you're an agent. You literally did this twice yesterday. And they're like, right, I know, but I'm the it's my house. And it's like, yes, I get that. So it's just like, it's the preparation of knowing your work and getting it done.
Agreed. I think also sellers are looking for, they don't know this until it goes bad, but they are looking for and expecting a high level of communication.
Boom. Communication.
Communication. And we freaking throw that word
That's on
around.
mine too.
Like, oh, I'm a good communicate. No, you're not. No, you're not.
So what are the key? That's okay, Monica, as a coach, as a capital R coach, what are the key ingredients for good communication?
All right. I think it's a 3-part process.
Oh, okay.
Do you know about the 3-part process?
I don't. I'm on the edge of my seat.
Well, the first thing is you're going to tell them what you're going to do. Part 2, you do it. Part 3, you tell them that you did it. Yeah.
And that's part 4, that is the next time we're going to communicate.
Oh, I love that. Part 4. Okay, I'll give you that one.
Bonus part.
Tell them the next step.
Yeah. And I think this is really good, right? Because they don't know. Okay. So you do the listing appointment, you do your pre-listing packet. It has your marketing plan in it. You do the listing appointment, you talk about the stuff, right? And it's like, maybe one of your things is, I'm going to call all the neighbors or whatever, like whatever you do. But then you never tell them that you did that.
Right. So they don't know.
Well, what do they assume?
You didn't do it.
Oh, right.
Right.
So many agents get frustrated and they're like, the seller's mad at me and I did all this work. And I'm like, did you tell them you did it? And they're like, no. And here's the thing, especially I tell people your first 72 hours are critical. They are critical. And if you can solidify communication and confidence that they made the right choice in that first 72 hours, you could mess up in a month and it won't matter. And by solidifying it, I mean exactly what you said, doing the 4-part communication. So it's like, okay, if I told them I was going to call agents,
Right.
then I say, hey, look, I literally will text or call or whatever, however we communicate. Look, I pulled a list of 42 agents. Okay. Every little step.
Right.
Okay. I was able to get a hold of, I called 20 of those agents. I got a hold of 5. I left messages for the other. Here's kind of the general feedback. Cause they're wondering, what did they say?
Right,
Are they bringing people like think about what do they want to know based on the communication you're giving them.
Right.
And then like the next day, so we're like 2 days in, right? The next day, hey, I finished up the list. This is kind of what we said. Are you available for a call to review this? If we need to talk about anything, whatever. And so then it's like, okay, I told them everything that I did. They think that I'm working for them. Listen, for everybody, 20 phone calls is a lot.
Right.
They think you're a freaking rock star. You called 40 agents. Like,
right.
Wow, you're amazing.
Exactly.
You got a hold of 10 of them. They don't even want to call anybody. They don't want to pick up the phone at all.
That's true.
Feel
The
like you're
bar is
amazing.
very low to achieve a level of confidence through communication. They're not expecting some big sophisticated system or something. It's literally, I would say probably more importantly, duration like of the conversation versus any, masterful.
It doesn't need to be complicated. And like, even so we'll do like, okay, there's a showing. I'll just text someone, be like, hey, I just talked to the agent. This is what they said about the buyer. Like whatever, they want to know these things. Right. Answering questions before they are asked is critical. You have done your job more than once.
Yeah.
They ask the same questions.
They do ask the same questions, and they're going to ask it, and you still don't go in there proactively and do it. Anytime a client texts me or calls me with a question and I'm like, oh, I get so pissed at myself because I knew I should have told them that either at some other step or whatever. I'm like, damn it.
If a client is calling you or texting you about something, it's because they've had the question for days and you haven't answered it.
Yeah. Right.
You're bad.
That's right. Okay. So they want market knowledge. They want communication. They want, what was the second one?
It was like leadership,
confidence,
and strategy. Like
what else does a seller think of when they think of a great agent?
I mean, those were mine that they want. I mean, if they want something specific, right? Like that could be something, but I also think it depends. You have to look at the personality profile of that seller. Okay. Because they're going to want like you're going to have to tailor what you say in a different way than if you're talking to me, than if you're talking to you, if you're talking to an engineer, right? It's just got to be a little bit different. Like if I'm talking to you, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on what the agent said about the buyer that's coming to show the property. I'm going to be like, Monica, I am so excited that this buyer is coming. They have been looking in Anderson for over a month. They haven't found anything. Your house fits perfectly, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get you excited about it because that's how you are. For me, if you come at me like that, I'll be like, you're dumb and annoying. Get away from me.
You're like, I don't care.
I don't give a fuck. Are they going to
look like or act like? Or
I don't care. I just want to know that you called them, you sold my house to their agent, and then I want the feedback. And that's it.
Well, and that's the fourth thing I would say that kind of rounds out this list is, and they might not know how to phrase it or even say it if they're looking for it, but I think sellers are looking to make sure that you are fighting for them.
Yes.
That you are on their side, that you're not just trying to get the sale. Cause that's what everybody thinks about us.
Oh my God. I took that for granted, but you're right.
I know.
That you're actually representing them.
When we have to demonstrate that, because otherwise they don't know what's being said behind the scenes. So for instance, if you're having a hard conversation with your client and you are arguing with them about price or something like that, it's really important that you say, just so you know, I'm having this conversation with only you. When I go back out to that agent, I'm fighting for this, but I want you to know we're having like a strategic discussion right now. Are you okay with that? You gotta let them know.
But in part of that too, when you're doing your appointment is like sitting on the same side of the table with them, leaning in. There's communication strategies that you can do in the appointment so that they feel like that you're on their side. I literally have never had, I cannot say, I'm sure it's happened once or twice, but for a majority of the time, like I obviously am hostile in my communicating, but like no sellers are like, I feel like you're fighting with me. They know that I am on their side. And how do they know that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you as an agent demonstrate that?
Right. But if you do not have your language around that, it will, if you are arguing with them on price, they are assuming that you are against them.
Yep.
That you are trying to just get your paycheck and get the hell out of there.
Commission breath.
So I think that's part of the communication. Yeah. Commission breath. Communication, which is, look, I want to have a discussion with you. I want you to know, no matter what, when I'm talking to that other agent or any other buyer, I'm fighting for whatever it is that we decide we're fighting for. So I don't want you to think that. And you almost have to punch them in the face with that, I think.
Well, and I think too, when you use, like, I prefer to use language like we and us, because then it's like me and them are on the same side and we're against them. Like, you're right. I wish we'd get $1 million for this house. Like, it's totally worth it. All this work and that you guys have put into it. But here's what they're going to see. They're not going to see the work that we did. They're not going to see, you know what I mean? And when you use that language, you're automatically on their side. This is some NLP stuff. We should do an NLP.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. I walked through a house yesterday. About 2 months ago, I went through the house and we talked about things that they needed to do and they weren't in a big hurry. And yesterday they called me back. These freaking people did every single thing and they had the house looking like it was ready for showings tomorrow, because they wanted me to see that I understood. They wanted me to see that they understood how to position the house.
That's awesome. And
all I kept saying is, you guys are incredible partners in this process. You guys have been incredible partners, and that's what you want that to feel like.
Yeah, and it takes a team, right?
Yeah.
All right, shall we go back to our corner?
Yeah, let me take a little.
Let us take a short break. When we return, we'll have the final punches.
And are we going to hear from our partners?
Yeah, we'll hear from them. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hi, guys. It's Monica and Jen from the Real Estate Fight Club. Hey. We just want to make sure to let you know that we have extremely cool partners in this great podcast that we have. We can't bring a show to you every week without our great partners. So we want you to go click below and check out their links and the special offers that they offer our Real Estate Fight Club listeners like you.
We've got some good ones. So we have a great offer from Vulcan 7, which is the dialer that I use to get all the numbers to start, pleasantly persistently harassing people.
Love it.
They're
the best in the biz.
The best. Yeah, they truly are. We got Ghost Poster, which is Monica's. Monica's
click below.
Product. Yeah. We've got our coach, John Kitchens. He's
whoop, whoop.
Yep. And then Real Support Solutions, which provides like administrative help and training. So
they're awesome.
Click those links, babies.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Let's get back inside the ring to the battle, which isn't really a battle, but I think we're throwing down some good stuff to think about. Today, we're talking about our jobs from the perspective of our clients. And I just think too often we talk about, a good realtor is one that has, maybe it's systems or does all this lead gen or whatever. That is great. Right. And that is true.
That is true.
That is true. But we cannot lose sight of the fact that these people buy and sell houses once every freaking 8 years. And
now it's like 10.
I know, which is pissing me off.
Bad for business. Well, maybe they're buying investment properties.
Well, let's hope for that. Or it doesn't matter. As long as they're referring people, it doesn't matter.
Well, Monica, too, we started off talking about, okay, now I want to look at how do you demonstrate those values? Do your processes align with that? Mm-hmm. So the easiest one here is communication.
Yep.
So what is your communication plan with people?
Yeah, I think that's something to think about. Mine, of course, starts with buyer consult, or I guess seller. In this case, if we're talking about sellers, starts with the listing presentation and you showing up like a leader, communicating to them what you do, consulting with them, asking questions. That's all part of the communication thing. But most importantly is that meeting must demonstrate that you know what you're doing, that you will lead them to it, and that you will communicate with them at a high level.
Boom, boom.
And then you got to execute on it. It's just kind of that easy, I guess. Easy and hard, right? And listen, I can tell you many clients where I did not show up as my best communicator self. I mean,
Ew,
you just
why?
have those though, you know, where you're like,
You
"God,
have people where you don't get along, or like sometimes like things go bad and then you're like, oh, I see you now.
Yes, you are.
I see you.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, you crazy.
I'm just trying to get out of here now.
That's why I'm like a pro fan of short contracts, because sellers are insane.
Yeah, 90 days. I mean, I might even do 30 days these days.
I might do 30. Yeah.
I know.
It depends on the average days on market for sure.
Since
But
people like it when we fight though, I'll fight you on one thing you said earlier.
okay,
Just
great.
since people want to hear us fight.
Let's hear it.
I've never sat on the same side as the table as the client.
That's dumb. You're doing it wrong.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
No.
It is, Monica.
Listen, I want to be in a position of leadership. The leader doesn't sit down next to the person.
You're at a table, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like maybe a 6-person table.
Yeah.
Where are you sitting?
I'm sitting at the head of the table.
Okay. Yeah. Sit at the head of the table and they sit on the side.
Yeah.
Now you have two spouses.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you sit?
Head of the table.
And they're on either side?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Because who are you giving the papers to first?
It
Who are
doesn't
you
matter.
showing first? This is wrong. They need to be on the same side. You can be at the head. They need to be on the same side. If you only have one party, you can be at the head or on the same side, but you cannot be across.
I am.
If you're across, you already lost. If they did
And
not
I
offer you
should
water, you lost.
Yeah, I should say not across. I think you're probably right. I am in a
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
position.
you.
I'm
did
in
you
the
say?
head of the. What I pictured is the people that sit next to each other at dinner, like on the same side of the booth. When you said that, that's what I was picturing.
But it's not a booth. It's a kitchen table.
I know, but I'm not sitting on the same side as somebody. I am going to.
But you can. I think it
corner.
depends on the person. So it can depend on the person. I think you got to read the room, man. And
Yeah, but I'm a people person. If you sit down next to me, I'm like a little uncomfortable. Can you sit over there, please? Can you sit across the table?
And sitting across from people is the kiss of death, because then it creates an adversarial. You're already against them. It's me versus you.
I don't think anyone walks away from my listing appointment that thinks that I've been adversarial.
You also said you're not across from them.
Correct. Sometimes I'm thinking back through, like, where do I sit if it's just one-on-one? I think I sit catty corner to him, but not on the same side. Like,
it depends on how the table's set up. I'm just saying, do not sit across from them. That is the thing. Do not sit across.
And is that from some training, like some Mike Ferry
Probably
or
Mike Ferry.
NLP type stuff? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard it multiple times. Like, it's just I
make them sit and then I stand up at a podium. In the kitchen.
Attention.
I have a
you bring your own
presentation.
mic.
Please listen up. All eyes on me. All eyes on me. I'm just
wrong
kidding.
with you. No, but there used to be like, if they give you a glass of water, if they offer you a glass of water, you've got the deal. If they don't, you don't have the deal. That was the thing I used to do. And then there was a thing about the pets too.
Like, the pets like you?
Well, you got to pet the pets.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
There's some people that are afraid of pets.
I know, but you got to pet the pets.
You got to pet the dog.
And you got to talk to the 3-year-old.
Oh, God.
You gotta be like, what's up, buddy? What's your name? Look at your cute outfit.
Whatever.
I know you don't.
Oh my God. No, I do. Kids like me for some reason, probably because I hate them.
It's the old story that, every cat, the first person they go to is in the room is the person that doesn't like cats. They just know.
Yeah, I don't like cats. And that's what they're like all up in my grill. And cats they don't care. You can no, I don't like cats. You can like throw them off and they just like come back.
It surprises me you don't like cats, because I think you would respect the cat. Because
No, I hate
all
cats
about everything the cat.
They don't mind.
Neither do you.
I know.
That's why I think you are actually a cat.
No, I'm definitely. If I'm a cat, I'm a big cat.
If you and I had to be pets, I would definitely be like the golden retriever, and you are the cat, the outdoor cat.
I'm an outdoor cat. I'd be a Mancoon or a tiger.
That's right. That's right. All right.
All
I
right.
think we've digressed.
It's time.
I think it's going to have to be the end of today's battle. What do you think? Did you have anything to add, Jen? Because I know we.
I don't think so. I think that's pretty good. I think like as the listener, really think about what the expectation is from the homeowner when they choose you.
Yeah.
And is what you're doing, what you do as a process really hit home for them in that or something. Maybe I'm not saying that right.
No, I get it. It's about putting yourself in their shoes and just remembering they don't do this every day, and all of the things that we forget about sometimes, I think, because we're cranking through, 10,
Hundreds
20,
of
30
deals.
deals, hundreds of deals a month.
Million.
A week. A year. All right. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and share it with somebody and subscribe and like. And we're so happy you joined us today. And
sharing is caring, Monica.
Sharing is caring.
Exactly. And if you have any interest in either being a guest or you're curious about EXP, feel free to give us a call, 513-400-1691. Monica, I hope you have a great day.
Hey, Jen, I hope you do too. And I hope that you find peace and joy in your day.
I hope I find a margarita.
that too.
See ya.
All right, see ya.
All right, welcome to this tiebreaker of Real Estate Fight Club. I have with me here today, Leah Joos. Hey, Leah.
Hi, thanks for having me, Jen.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come on. You've been on before, right? Maybe I've asked you a couple of times.
I think that I've maybe said no, there's probably somebody better to talk to.
But this is a great one for you. So Leah does real estate in Cincinnati at Keller Williams, and you are the tiebreaker for this question. In the eyes of a homeowner, what makes a great realtor? But let's give them some context first. You seem you're a very prepared person.
I'm so ready for this. This is such a good question for me because I am a realtor, right? And I'm not, on average, I do 25 to 35 deals a year. So I have a little bit of experience, but I've only been in real estate a couple of years. So coming to this question, it's I had an idea of what makes a great realtor. It's what drives me, right? So I make sure I have a super polished listing presentation when I come into someone's home. I'm ready to handle their objections and answer their questions. I've got that plan for marketing. I am going to hit up social media. I am door knocking. I am going to contact my network of agents, I have this really strong idea of what makes a great agent. I'm going to be such a tough negotiator. We are going to get you things. We are going to do this top dollar.
Right.
And as it turns out, shocker, just shocker of all shockers.
Spoiler alert.
Not what makes a great agent. Important, very important, but I have to tell you, the experience of being a seller and having my own home sold by a great agent, which have you mentioned that you're the one that sold my house?
We did now.
Good. What makes a great agent is not those things. The number one thing that made you a great agent for me was your communication. Nice. And it was top to bottom, your communication. So when someone was looking at my home, you were contacting the agent, finding out the buyer's story, and then contacting me to tell me about the buyer. And it set my expectations. Mm-hmm. If it was somebody's first time going out to look at a house, I knew that probably not our buyer. Right. But if it was someone who was really interested in our town and cared about the school district and wanted the walkability, then I thought, okay, could be my buyer. It really helped set the tone.
It's interesting because what I hear you saying is, now it seems like your perspective is what makes you a great realtor is being on the same side as your client. What does my client want to know? How can I answer that? And they already know and trust that I'm a great agent, right? That you're going to negotiate strong, that you're going to do the things that they assume that you're doing. Like
Right.
no seller doesn't think that most agents,
Like I'm not hiring somebody who's like, nah, but you're fine. It's going to be fine.
well, and most sellers think that our job includes like all the marketing stuff and all the door knocking. And even though a ton of agents don't do that as part of our
People don't do
process,
that.
they assume that you do, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing was, like, I felt like I had an advocate on my side the whole time. So like, Jen was so great about not only the daily communication, but when it came to inspections and repairs, like helping get vendors and trade people to get the repairs done. It's like, I have my list of people, but you had your list of people, and that really helped me, and it helped the process. And you stayed on top of me with, when is this getting done? Why does it need to be done? Like, let's make sure, let's follow up and get the invoices. But then also, selling's stressful, and it's so crazy to me.
Because you were Team Monica before when we did that.
Yes.
If you sell your own or be
right. I totally thought, like, listen, I am not emotional. I am divorced from this process. This is going to be easy peasy. And it's not, it's stressful.
Right.
And I had you there for feedback. You were calming. You also checked me when I needed to be checked. And like, you need somebody who is in your corner and is keeping consistent,
I agree with you too, because I don't represent myself when I buy and sell properties, and I do even as an investor. So I'm buying an investment property. It's still emotional because it's my money, right? But exactly what you're saying, when Alan represents me as my realtor, that you're right. I already know that he is a good agent, like a great, fabulous agent.
Yeah.
Like that's the minimum, right? But it is the communication that is like key. Like, answer my questions before they're asked. If I'm coming to you with a question, it means I'm already pissed off. You haven't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
1000%. Yeah. And I also think because I'm in this work, I've seen some crazy stuff. Like, all the different ways things can go south. And so I found myself anticipating all the things that could go wrong in the process. So having you there to be calming, to, really give me kind of the next steps. And even though I knew what they were, hearing them from you was reassuring.
You can imagine, like, as a client, they don't know this business. So you're saying being calming, which you are to your clients. I'm confident about that.
Yes.
You're telling them the next steps, you're communicating. What do you think that most agents don't do, and maybe you don't do it, that now you will be doing it, as realizing that communication is like the main thing?
I think people get something under contract and then it's like, okay, we'll see you at the closing table. Like, I don't actually think agents are in good constant communication with their clients. And that is something I pride myself on. It's very important to me that people know, like, it's not just a handoff. You're not just going to the title company and dealing with your lender and bye, see you later.
Yeah.
Like, I'm checking in, even if I have nothing to tell you.
Right. Just
checking in. Hey, how's packing going? Like, whatever it is.
Well, here's the thing that I know. And are you checking in verbally or over text or over email?
So not email. Email I leave for my transaction coordinator because she handles that. I think it's really critical that they hear my voice. I think that there is a calming sense. So if it's something minor, of course I'll text, but I do think that weekly phone call is critical.
It depends on the client, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes a week is like a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes an hour is like a week. So, but yeah.
Hold on. You mean like when we were talking every day?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Every day. Yes, when you have a high anxiety seller, which you do.
What do you mean?
You call every day. Text every night, like, good morning. It's like when you get a new boyfriend. Good morning, good night.
Yes.
It's so funny. So yeah, no, I think that's really good. I think it was interesting to watch your experience as a seller compared to like you as an agent. It's so funny because I knew it. Like that's how I am as a buyer. Like when I buy these properties or sell these properties, I'm an insane person. Like my anxiety level is so high. I'm super anxious, super insane. And I've done it a million times. Like even
it
that part
doesn't
I've done a
matter.
million times. It doesn't
Right.
matter.
It doesn't matter. And I almost think we know so much that we're dangerous. So you need that person that's like, take a breath. Okay.
Awesome. Well, Leah, if somebody has a referral for you in Cincinnati, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just shoot me a text or give me a call, 513-407-5901. I'm happy to take care of you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on.
Great. Thanks so much, Jen.